All right, y'all, let's get it, y'all. Who ready for the knowledge? Who ready for the knowledge?
Saturn's frequency is not a side effect, but a function. What if it is broadcasting something, intentionally or not, into the cosmic environment? This is where the idea of the Matrix comes into play. In many mystical and Gnostic traditions, the material world is not the ultimate reality. It is a simulation, a veil, a test. The Gnostics believed that a false god, the demiurge, created the physical realm as a counterfeit of the true spiritual world. This artificial world is governed by rules, limitations, and suffering. To escape it, one must awaken, realize their divine nature, and bypass the illusions.
Well,
The theory that Saturn is the signal tower of the Matrix aligns disturbingly well with this idea. It suggests that Saturn is either the broadcasting source or the amplifier of the frequency prison that keeps consciousness locked into a limited perception of reality. Supporters of this theory point to the massive, persistent hexagon-shaped storm, freaks that Saturn is either the broadcasting source or the amplifier of the frequency prison that keeps consciousness locked into a limited perception of reality. Supporters of this theory point to the massive, persistent hexagon-shaped storm at Saturn's North Pole, a geometric anomaly that has baffled scientists for decades. It is unlike anything seen elsewhere in the solar system. A perfect, six-sided structure embedded in the clouds, spinning with eerie precision. In esoteric symbolism, the hexagon is closely tied to the cube. The two are interrelated in geometry. A three-dimensional cube, viewed from a certain angle, appears as a hexagon. This connection fuels the belief that the hexagon on Saturn is a symbolic, or even literal, representation of the black cube, a sign of the planet's role in maintaining the prison of form, time, and illusion. This hexagonal storm may not just be a weather pattern, it could be an antenna, a frequency generator, a portal. That is the claim made by some esoteric researchers and independent scientists. According to this theory, the vibration coming from Saturn's hexagon works like a carrier wave, embedding frequencies that influence the electromagnetic environment of Earth, and possibly human consciousness itself. If the body and mind operate as biological receivers, tuned to specific vibrations, then manipulating those vibrations could alter thought, emotion, and perception. In this way, Saturn's frequency becomes the cosmic software that runs the operating system of human reality. Adding to the intrigue is the strange correlation between Saturn and the Moon. Some researchers argue that the Moon acts as a relay, receiving the frequency from Saturn and broadcasting it to Earth. In this model, Saturn is the original transmitter, the Moon is the amplifier, and Earth is the receiver. This cosmic alignment mirrors the setup of a wireless communication system, transmitter, sending it to Earth. In this model, Saturn is the original transmitter, the Moon is the amplifier, and Earth is the receiver. This cosmic alignment mirrors the setup of a wireless communication system. Could it be that Saturn is not just a mythological force, but a literal mechanism, keeping consciousness locked in a reduced bandwidth? If true, then waking up from the Matrix would not only require spiritual insight, but also a shift in vibrational awareness, learning how to retune the inner receiver to a higher, more authentic frequency. This brings us back to the black cube. In this model, the cube becomes the ultimate symbol of the frequency prison. The cube is static. It does not move. It has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 corners, stable, unyielding, and symmetrical. In many traditions, it represents the unawakened state of consciousness, trapped in the world of form and unaware of the invisible dimensions surrounding it. When black, it absorbs all light. It does not reflect. It is the void, the silence, the deadening hum of static. In occult philosophy, this black cube becomes a receiver of Saturnian energy, a kind of metaphysical antenna, that resonates with the frequency of control, separation, and limitation. And yet, the same symbol, when used consciously, can be reversed. In alchemy and mystical traditions, any poison can be a medicine if applied with wisdom. The cube that imprisons can also stabilize. The frequency that restricts can also be refined. Saturn's energy, while heavy and often difficult, is also the source of mastery, discipline, and deep spiritual insight. In fact, some occultists believe that Saturn's frequency is not a punishment, but a test. A kind of initiation tone that vibrates the impurities out of the soul. Only by passing through the cube, by enduring its density and limitations, can one attain the clarity and strength needed to move into higher states of being. The idea of Saturn as a matrix source also has roots in cybernetic and digital theory. Many people have noticed the increasing virtualization of human life. The rise of screens, algorithms, and artificial intelligence has created a world where more of reality is mediated through code. Some spiritual thinkers argue that this is not a random development, but a deepening of the Saturnian frequency, a further crystallization of consciousness into the digital. The more we immerse ourselves in artificial systems, the more disconnected we become from the organic, the intuitive, the divine. The black cube, in this light, is not just a symbol of imprisonment. It is the very shape of our new reality. Sleek, cold, perfect, and soulless. In popular culture, this theme is everywhere. Films like The Matrix, Inception, and Interstellar explore the concept of reality being an illusion, controlled by external forces, and the need to awaken from that illusion through knowledge, courage, and personal evolution. These are modern Saturnian parables. Even the design of many virtual reality headsets resembles a black cube strapped to the face, a disturbing symbol of how willingly humanity embraces its own imprisonment when offered convenience and escape. But not all is grim. The increasing awareness of Saturn's potential role in frequency manipulation is leading many to explore ways to raise their vibration, detach from the collective programming, and awaken to their true nature. Practices such as sound healing, meditation, breathwork, sacred geometry visualization, and chanting ancient mantras are all ways to retune the inner instrument. By learning to generate higher frequencies within the body and mind, one can begin to resist the denser energies believed to be coming from planetary sources. It is not about escaping Saturn. It is about integrating it, harmonizing with its lessons, without being enslaved by its limitations. Saturn is not necessarily an enemy. In some interpretations, he is the stern teacher, the final gatekeeper who tests the soul's readiness for liberation. His frequency is not meant to dominate, but to challenge. Only those who are fully conscious can rise above it. In this sense, Saturn becomes a mirror, showing each person exactly where they are trapped, exactly what they must confront, and exactly what must be refined before they can ascend. The black cube, then, becomes not a tomb, but a crucible, a sacred chamber in which the soul either disintegrates or awakens. The theory of Saturn as a frequency controller is ultimately not just about a distant planet or speculative physics. It is about personal resonance. It is about the vibration you live in each day, the thoughts you think, the emotions you cultivate, and the reality you create through your own inner frequency. Whether or not Saturn is broadcasting a control signal matters less than whether you are receiving it unconsciously. Because the moment you become aware of it, the spell is broken. The cube begins to crack, and through that crack, light begins to shine.
Well,
spiritual liberation has never been about escaping the world. It is not a flight from suffering or a denial of reality. Rather, it is a deep, transformative confrontation with the very forces that seem to imprison the soul. The black cube, symbol of Saturn, limitation and karmic gravity, must not be fled from, but entered, understood, and ultimately transcended. The path to liberation leads directly into the cube, not around it. The walls of the cube are made from the illusions we have not yet seen through, the fears we have not yet faced, and the truths we have not yet embodied. And so, to break free from the cube is to awaken fully to the nature of our own imprisonment. At its core, the cube represents form, structure, predictability, and control. These are not inherently negative things. In fact, they are essential for life to exist at all.
So there you have it, y'all. I'm gonna stop it right here. Put it in a nutshell. You're not getting out the matrix until you wake up and realize that you're in one. You know what I mean? You talk to most people out here, they still don't even realize that they're in hell. You know what I mean? And since you haven't done your own homework, you haven't done, you haven't, did what Jesus told you to do, seek and you shall find. So therefore, what the scriptures say, my people shall perish from a lack of knowledge. My people shall perish from a lack of knowledge. This demiurge God was mad at Adam and Eve because they ate off the knowledge of tree. The tree of knowledge. Right? The demiurge God got mad. The jealous God got mad. Why? Because the jealous God wanted Adam and Eve to remain a bot. And he wanted them to wake up, so he got mad at everybody. Cursed the ground, cursed the serpent, cursed the people. The jealous God had a temper tantrum. But see, you got to understand, you should know that according to the Gnostics and according to this information that I just gave you, which is about the black cube of Saturn, right? They're letting you know that true liberation comes by freeing the mind and the soul and the spirit of all this dogma, all this indoctrination. You gotta let it go. Everything that we've been taught, that you was told is the truth and all this, you gotta let it go. That's when you shall receive true liberation. Is when you let go the nonsense. As long as you still, seeking outside yourself and you going to church and all this stuff, you're just gonna keep on coming back. You're gonna go right into this. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen to you, punk ass. You're going straight to Saturn when you die. They're gonna mind wipe you, and they're gonna send you right back to another body. Now, where you gonna go? I don't know. I don't know if you're going to Canada, America, South, North, the Asia, Africa. I don't know. Europe. You could be anywhere. You might be born. Your next life could be in the sticks with a bone in your nose. I don't know. When I was watching Defending Your Life, he was running. White boy, look, this is the crazy thing. This is why I tell you that even color is just an illusion. Because in the movie Defending Your Life, the white boy he saw his past life, that he was an African man in Africa getting chased by a lion or something. You know what I'm saying? The white boy saw his past life. If y'all have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He was an African man in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, this white, black, Puerto Rican thing is just another illusion. You know what I mean? It's all vanity. It really don't mean nothing. Because at the end of the day, we're all source energy. At the end of the day, your source energy can get anybody. You know what I'm saying? When you reincarnate, you can get any vessel, dog. Just like you going to a car dealership and picking any car you want. If you got the money. Any color, any make, model, whatever. What vehicle do you want? It's the same thing with the body. You want to be white, you want to be black, you want to be a female, you want to be a male. The choice is yours. Some people do. Some spirits probably do come back as animals. Who knows? Shit, I be seeing these animals today online. Man, look, ain't nowhere in the world you can't tell me that either that mother. I seen the dog doing some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, that they ain't no in the world that wasn't a human being in another lifetime. So, if a cat got 9 lives, how many lives do you have? With that being said, y'all, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Say no to gang stalking. The perps, don't worry about the perps. The one that's gang stalking you and torturing you, they're gonna get caught up in Saturn, and on their next life cycle, they gonna have to go through it. You know what I'm saying? You know, right now they the gang stalker. On the next one probably. Well, I guess they probably. I'm thinking though they probably won't ever have to experience it, only until they raise their vibration to the point where I guess their awakening is happening. Because I am led to believe that gang stalking is it is another form of an awakening. It's like another level. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you reach this level of, and I guess it all depends on how deep your targeting is. The deeper you're targeting, I guess the deeper the level or whatever, the higher the level or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But once you're on that spiritual level, because to every level there's a new devil. So, you know, whenever you're on that level, you know what I mean, of consciousness, of coming into your senses, then you're gonna it's like a video game, you know what I'm saying? You know how you get, you know, you gotta go through this person and this person to get to that person. So it's like the same with this. You know what I mean? You know, somewhere down the line, I guess somebody gonna always have to go through gang stalking. You know what I'm saying? If you're seeking higher consciousnness, if you're seeking, you know what I'm saying, you know. So, because this shit right here, I'm trying to tell you, this will get you there if that's what you're seeking. You know what I'm saying? But the choice is yours though. The choice is yours, because you can not use this opportunity to read and study. You can use this opportunity to hurt people, you know, masturbate all day. You know what I'm saying? You could just waste time if you want it. So the choice is still yours. You got to make that decision, and you got to make the right decision. So make sure you make the right decision. Don't just be wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Holla back, y'all. We out.